Wins news time 2:11, and let's get you where you need to go now. Here's Greg Rice.
We have been saddled with rolling pothole repair work all over the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway this afternoon, and it looks like that's what's at play here on the eastbound Brooklyn-Queens Expressway, getting back towards the LIE. That's why you're extra slow from the Williamsburg Bridge. East side of Manhattan, northbound FDR, bumper to bumper from East 23rd Street all the way on up through Gracie Mansion. Now, the West Side Highway, the worst of that is from the 130s up to the George because of construction on the ramp to the Cross Bronx. Northbound Deeg and best of it out of town from the Bronx. Citybound George, a couple of extra minutes on the upper lowers better. Lincoln and Holland, no more than a few minutes in either direction. Through New Jersey, still dealing with issues on the southbound Eastern Spur. You got that crash near 15E. The southbound Western Spur is far from perfect or even good, but it's better. Greg Rice, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
Appreciate it, G. And now your AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Meteorologist Brian Thompson is here with this live report.
Yeah, what nice sunny afternoon, Larry. Still cold, though. Temperatures have been struggling to reach the freezing mark. We'll get up to a high of around 34 this afternoon as, again, sun will mix with some clouds. And we'll have some clouds sticking around into tonight. The temperature's not dropping a whole lot, though, low 28. And it will be a somewhat warmer day tomorrow. Intervals of clouds and sunshine, a bit of a breeze in the afternoon with a high of 43. Times of sun and clouds on Thursday, high 46. Temperatures continue to climb Thursday night. We'll see temperatures rise into the 50s. Some rain arrives after midnight, and then that rain will taper off by later Friday morning. Turning pretty windy during the day on Friday. Could see some wind gusts upwards of 40 to 50 miles per hour. Starts off warm, a high of 56, but then temperatures fall into the 40s later on. Much colder into Saturday, highs back in the 30s with some sunshine. 31 degrees right now. It's sunny in Midtown. We're heading up to 34. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Wins family, the queen of disco, has finally made it into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Oh, Donna Summer was posthumously honored at a ceremony in L.A. last night, led by Academy Award-winning songwriter Paul Williams. Summer's husband, Bruce Sedano, and their daughters were there. Miss Summer died in 2012 at the age of 63. Now, for those who didn't know, listen real close. Donna Summer had to be one of the most defining voices of the 20th century. Williams called her one of the greatest songwriters of all time who changed the course of music, writing timeless songs that continue to move us today. She had a smooth blend of R&B, soul, pop, fun, rock, disco, funk, electronic. Back in the day, all you had to say was MacArthur Park. And when somebody left her cake out in the rain, oh, I thought I was going to die. Kids, Google it. Google it. That song stopped traffic. There was only one Donna Summer, folks. Look at the job market now, and it shows the bosses were hiring last month, but only after the October numbers took a nosedive after the wheels of government came to a screeching halt.
The shutdown-delayed report for November shows the economy added 64,000 jobs after losing 105,000 in October.
The job market is essentially flatlining here. This is within the context of 5 million people being hired a month, but we're not adding jobs.
Bankrate analyst Mark Hamrick says the job market should improve as the economy absorbs President Trump's tariffs.
Once you get that price pig through the python, you should be in a better place.
Michael Wallace reporting for us. Instagram making that quantum leap from mobile devices to your TV set is their first shot at it. The Meta-owned social platform launched a pilot today with an app designed to display reels on connected TVs. You know, sort of like what YouTube currently does. It is initially available for Amazon's Fire TV family and only in the U.S. Instagram expects to widen support for additional devices and in other markets sometime next year. The company says it has already gotten feedback that people are interested in this sort of thing, so they're going to go for it. They see people get together all the time with their friends to watch reels, and so they'll see what the market does. Oh, what the heck. I have no shame. Test it out on my Instagram site, folks. It's at I Am Larry Mullins. Check out my feature called The Brick and tell me what you think. A little free plug there. Okay, whatever. No shame. Good news today for folks who visit the Grand Canyon. They've got somewhere to stay.
Popular hotels on the Grand Canyon National Park's South Rim are reopening after being closed for a week because of broken water lines. Some campground water sites will remain offline, and South Rim fire restrictions will continue. Most of those who visit the Grand Canyon do so at the South Rim.
Yeah, the National Park Service says more than 41,000 people stayed at the hotels in the South Rim last year. Well, regarding another iconic tourist site and ocean away, I see where Rome opened 2 subway stations today, one of them deep beneath the Roman Colosseum. They've linked the modernity of high-tech transport with artifacts from an ancient era. Commuters can enter the station near the iconic amphitheater and see many of the ceramic vases and plates, the stone well, suspended bucket. They also see the ruins of a cold plunge pool and thermal bath from a first-century dwelling. Also have screens which show visitors the excavation process for people to marvel at and justify why it's taking so long to finish. Took 2 decades to build the subway. Not quite the 8 to 10 years it took to build the Coliseum, but long enough. The developers say it was painstaking work building it under such a large amount of groundwater and at the same time preserving all the archaeological finds that they stumbled upon during the work. I can imagine that is an amazing feat. We got your headlines coming up next. From the hustle of Hunts Point to the pulse of Staten Island, we are New York's all-news station, 1010 Wins.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
We'll give you partly sunny skies and 31 degrees here at 220. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening. We'll hear more from Mayor Eric Adams as he begins the road to Citizen Eric. Today he met with reporters for the preliminary goodbyes as he prepares to leave office. A pair of police officers struck this morning after they got out of their car on a traffic stop and a guy allegedly backed over them, took off in a Benz. Both have minor leg and foot injuries. On Long Island, a heads up about the drinking water at dozens of schools. A report which says the health department has found lead in the water after the state lowered its acceptable amount from 15 to 5 parts per billion. As the almost former mayor of New York prepares to leave, the incoming mayor-elect is getting support from New Yorkers who seem to back his push for free child care. We got a Siena College poll to tell you about. And HBO Max releasing a new trailer and some pretty key art for The Pit Season 2. It premieres January 8th, and it's got our producers around here just running around crazy, these young folks, I tell you. We'll have details coming up on 1010 Wins Entertainment. Thank you, Sarah. A mix of sun and clouds is accurate, but still cold with a high of only 34 degrees on this Tuesday. Wins News Time 221. Let's get you where you need to go now. Talk about it, Greg Rice.
Now, slow ride on the east side, northbound side of the FDR Drive, all jammed up. You got a crash under Gracie Mansion. They're looking for it on the 1010 Wins jam cams, and you got to stand still all the way back towards the 20s. After you get past Gracie, northbound Harlem River Drive, messy again out of the 140s. Now on the northbound west side highway, still jammed up from the 130s all the way on up towards the George Washington Bridge. They have construction out there on the northbound west side highway ramp to the Cross Bronx, but again, that backs up everybody on the west side, but overall the east side is worse. Northbound Deegan, best way home out of the Bronx. Citybound George is all right. Lincoln and Holland, no more than a few minutes in either direction. Southbound Eastern Spur still slow down to 15E, but the crash is gone. Southbound Western Spur got bad because everybody looked for a different option. Belt in Brooklyn, not a great option right now. Westbound traffic from Flatbush Avenue all the way over to the rail yards near Shell Road. Reportedly, we're dealing with a crash over there. Greg Rice, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Mayor Eric Adams buried a time capsule today. It's the first time any mayoral administration has done that outside City Hall. It marks the beginning of his farewell tour from City Hall. A new administration headed in, led by Zoran Mamdani, but Adams wanted to make sure New Yorkers were reminded of some of the good things his administration left behind, while hoping the city forgets some of the not-so-good hiccups along the way. Here's Juliet Papa.
He used his signature theme music interspersed with his popular sayings and then used his speech to tout his administration's accomplishments. Mayor Adams acknowledged the setbacks and the successes.
Go back and look at the day that I was indicted. Every quarter we dropped crime. Every quarter we build more housing.
Record number of jobs, housing, higher test scores.
I'm ready. Did what I had to do. I left everything I had on the ice, and I'm looking forward to the next step of my journey.
He says he's proud of the record and the roadmap he leaves for the future. Juliet Papa, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Yeah, they say he's off to Europe now. Hey, enjoy it. 2 police officers nursing injuries today after some guy in a Mercedes backed over them this morning during a traffic stop. They're out on West 8th Street and Clinton Road in Gravesend, and just as the officers got out of their cars, they see a guy driving a gray-colored Mercedes C300 put it in reverse and backed over both of them. Did they stop the guy, write him a ticket? No, because he took off. One officer got a minor leg injury out of it. The other hurt his foot, both taken to a local hospital in stable condition. They're still looking for the guy in the bench. Luigi Mangione back in court today for day 8 of his pretrial hearings. They're still trying to hammer out a path for the evidence to be presented during his upcoming trial, accused of murdering United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The big right now is his backpack. His lawyers insist the cops went through it without reading him his rights first and without a search warrant. They found a pistol, a silencer, and a notebook, reportedly with a to-do list that included a reminder for Luigi to pluck his eyebrows. True story. They say the search was illegal meantime. Prosecutors say the arrest at a Mickey D's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, was by the book. They've also been showing video from the police body cams in which Luigi's lawyers have also objected, saying the video might influence public perceptions of their client. So far, no trial date. House Speaker Mike Johnson says there will not be a vote on extending health care subsidies under the Affordable Care Act after all.
Speaker Johnson on why the Lower Health Care Premiums for All Americans Act does not address those expiring subsidies.
We looked for a way to try to allow for that pressure release valve, and it just was not to be.
The bill includes efforts to lower drug prices and allow small businesses more health plan options. When asked why the majority of Republicans waited until the end of the year to address the issue,
The health care bill on the floor tomorrow is right on time.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries calls the Republican bill, quote, a deeply unserious proposal.
Correspondent Linda Kenyon reporting. And now Bloomberg Money Watch.
Half of the pair that created Ben & Jerry's says the ice cream company's new owners are trying to dismantle its social mission. Referring to reports Magnum Ice Cream, recently spun off from Unilever, is working to remove 3 members from its independent board, including its chair. Ben Cohen says Magnum is hollowing out the very things that give Ben & Jerry's its sole credibility and worth. No comment from Magnum, whose shares right now are down 2%. Today's economic report showing weak job growth and unemployment rising is helping dent Wall Street hopes for more soon-coming Fed interest rate cuts. And right now, the Dow is down 394. NASDAQ losing 59, S&P down 41. Amanda O'Day, Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
1010 Wins. I love that I get the news without the bias.
I totally trust what they say.
All news, all the time.
1010 Wins.
On 92.3 FM.
This holiday season, help children in the Bronx who face hunger, housing instability, and a lack of opportunity. Go to bronxworks.org for more. 1010 Wins because we are better together. 31 degrees and partly sunny. Good afternoon. I'm Larry Mullins. Wins News Time at the Tone, 2:30.
Good afternoon. I'm Lori Metten. Time to get the lead out. The New York State Health Department says dozens of school districts on Long Island have lead in their water. The new numbers came after the state lowered the acceptable amount of lead that can be in school drinking water.
Parents are not happy hearing there is lead in the water in 60 school districts across the island.
I am extremely concerned. As we know, lead is negatively affecting children.
We got to figure out how to get the lead situation out of the pipes.
Adrian Esposito with the Citizens Campaign for the Environment says administrators must immediately shut off any faucet or fountain where lead was found in the water.
Lead was used many, many years ago. The lead will leach out and contaminate the drinking water supply.
She says in many cases, it's a simple repair that does not cost a lot of money. She advises parents to give their kids water from home in reusable bottles. Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM on Long Island.
Wednesday's time, 2:31. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Greg Rice.
Well, better news on Manhattan's east side. Northbound FDR under Gracie. The crash is gone, but we're still slow in fits and starts from 14th Street up through Midtown. And then the northbound Harlem River Drive, very tough from right around the 140s on up. Northbound West Side Highway sluggish out of the 130s up towards the George because of construction on the ramp to the Cross Bronx. Citybound George is fine. Northbound Deegan, still the best of it out of the Bronx, but not without issues. Northbound Deegan just before Willis Avenue, you've got an accident blocking at least one, if not two, right lanes. And on the southbound side of the major Deegan Expressway, looks like a crash blocking the right lane coming down past Grand Concourse. Lincoln Tunnel, no more than a few minutes in or out. Even the Holland Tunnel is off to a pretty decent start. Cross Island Parkway already loaded up south from the Throgs next to Hillside Avenue. Stay with the Clearview Expressway instead. Greg Rice, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check of your AccuWeather forecast. Here is meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Well, Lori, it's been a nice sunny afternoon, but it is still pretty cold. Temperatures are still struggling to get much above the freezing mark this afternoon. The good news is we really won't see temperatures drop all that much tonight. We'll have patchy clouds and a low of 28. Now, tomorrow the breeze will pick up a bit, but it will not be as cold. We'll get to a high of 43 with intervals of clouds and sunshine. Mainly clear tomorrow night, low 31 in the city. It'll be in the 20s in most suburbs. Times of sun and clouds Thursday, high 46. Then temperatures rise into the 50s Thursday night ahead of a cold front that will start to bring some rain after midnight. Could be some ponding on roads into the Friday morning commute as the rain continues, but that rain will end early Friday. Will be a warm start with a high of 56, but then temperatures will fall into the 40s in the afternoon. The wind is going to become an issue throughout the day, gusting upwards of 40 to 50 miles per hour, and then turning much colder again heading into Saturday, highs back in the 30s. Right now we have a sunny sky. It's 31 degrees. The mid-sound are going down to 28 tonight. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM.
After a commanding victory in the election, Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani is even more popular today among New York voters. That's according to a new Siena College poll.
If we look at just New York City voters, nearly 3-1 by a 61 to 23% margin, New York City voters view Mamdani favorably, and Democrats off the charts by a 67 to 17% margin.
And pollster Steve Greenberg says statewide, Mamdani's favorability rating is up 6 points to 46-31 compared to a month ago. This same poll also found that Governor Hochul has a 19-point lead over Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik and a 25-point lead over Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman. The search continues for the gunman who opened fire at Brown University over the weekend, killing 2 students and wounding 9 others.
Videos and photos released Monday show an unidentified person of interest wearing a hat, dark colors, and a mask largely obscuring his face, walking calmly near the Brown University campus Saturday. The images were captured just hours before a shooter opened fire inside a lecture hall.
Correspondent Tom Hansen. Are you holding back on spending this holiday season? A new poll by the NBC News Decision Desk has found that 55% of U.S. adults say they will spend less money on gifts this year compared to last year. 9% say they'll spend more. 36% say they'll spend about the same. The poll found partisan differences on the economy. NBC says more than 6 in 10 Democrats and independents say they will spend less compared to just 41% of Republicans.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night's Powerball jackpot could make someone a billionaire.
The Powerball jackpot has grown to an estimated $1.25 billion after no winning numbers were picked for Monday night's drawing.
Your Powerball number tonight, good luck everyone, is 2, and your Power Play multiplier is 4.
It's now the 6th biggest Powerball in history. There have now been more than a dozen lottery jackpot prizes exceeding $1 billion in the U.S. since 2016. The largest was just over $2 billion in November of 2022.
Correspondent Jim Crisula, the top law enforcement official in the state of Texas, says your TV is watching you.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton alleges in a lawsuit that Sony, Samsung, LG, Hisense, and TCL unlawfully collect personal data through content recognition technology inside their TV sets. His suit says those companies then sell that information to other companies for targeting of ads. He calls the practice deceptive, abusive, and exploitative.
It's correspondent Jim Ryan. The companies have not publicly commented. 31 degrees now, partly sunny here in the city. We are going down to 28 degrees tonight. Can you spot the new traders?
I'm going to lie and cheat and do whatever I have to do to win.
The story is coming up next. Now 1010 Wins Entertainment. The Traders are ready for a new season of deception.
Backstabbing, betrayal, and murder. A twisted new season of The Traitors is finally here.
And that season 4 will arrive on Peacock January 8th with Alan Cummings back as host. Another popular TV show returning in January is The Pit.
You're a very empathetic soul. But this is the ED. It's not for the faint of heart.
Season 2 arriving on HBO Max January 8th.
Entertainment on 1010 Wins.
All News 92.3 FM. Powered by 1010 Wins.
The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good afternoon. 31 degrees at 2:40. I'm Lori Madden, and here's what's happening. In his final weeks in office, Mayor Adams is touting what he calls his accomplishments amid a report that he's heading to Mexico tonight. City Controller Brad Lander calling for the censure of City Council member Vicky Palladino following an anti-Muslim post. Cases of flu now skyrocketing here in the city, and health officials say it is not too late to get your flu shot. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says he will not release unedited video of a U.S. strike that killed survivors on a boat in the Caribbean. Bugs is getting a starring role at a theme park, and he'll have company from his Looney Tune pals. 1010 Wins AccuWeather says cloudy tonight, low 28 degrees. Sun and clouds tomorrow, high 43. Wins News Time 2:41. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Greg Rice.
Well, you got trouble right now in the Bronx. Southbound Deegan coming down towards the area of 3rd Avenue. It's a crash in the right lane, and the northbound side of the Deegan just off the RFK Bridge before the exit for Willis Avenue. You got the right 2 lanes out because of a crash involving a tractor trailer. That's bunching you up off of the RFK and the westbound Bruckner onto the northbound Deegan before Willis Avenue. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and the tunnels. Citybound to Georgia, pretty good ride to the upper and lower. Northbound West Side Highway still sluggish in fits and starts from the 130s on up towards the George, but it's getting better. East side's far worse. The Lincoln Tunnel's about 10 minutes in. Outbound side of the Lincoln Tunnel, no more than a few. Holland Tunnel, about 15 out, 10 to 15 in from the Skyway. Better off the Newark Bay. Clearview, Throgs Neck, best of it right now across the upper East River. In the Bronx, really in Westchester, northbound side of 95 in Westchester near Weaver Street, you got a crash and a car fire and a couple of lanes knocked out of service. Greg Rice, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Mayor Adams likes to talk about swagger, and today he was boasting about what he said were his accomplishments while in office. He took no questions from reporters.
Mayor Adams seeking to cement his one-term accomplishments. He admits there were those who weren't fans.
Some gave me the thumbs up and some gave me other fingers.
But he carried on. He says his indictment wasn't the only first, touting a record number of jobs, the record low in crime, and setting up the future.
You don't want to walk out your door and see tents on the streets. You don't want to see little boys and girls sitting on street corners selling their bodies. You don't want to be taxed based on your race.
But where his future lies, he won't say for now. Julia Papa, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Well, the Daily News is saying they have a report that the mayor is heading to Mexico City tonight. The report says when asked what he planned to do there, he said, none of your business. Shots were fired near Kennedy Airport early this morning during an incident involving an on-duty Customs and Border Protection officer and another driver. That's according to the Port Authority Police. They say the CBP officer told them he pulled his weapon after the other driver attacked him over a minor traffic crash. It is not clear if the shots hit anything. The other driver did not remain at the scene. The customs officer was not hurt. An investigation is underway. A New York City Council member who represents Northern Queens is facing calls for censure over an anti-Muslim post.
Vicky Palladino's post on X was taken down, but the backlash continues with a call from City Comptroller Brad Lander for the council to begin censure proceedings this week. In the post, Palladino said Western governments should restrict Muslims from living within their borders. She also reposted a number of tweets expressing similar sentiments. Her office has not responded to a request for comment. In a statement, Mayor-elect Mamdani called the tweet vile Islamophobia, adding 1 million Muslims live in New York City, and we belong here, as does every other New Yorker. Marla Diamond, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
The New York City Council is considering a measure that would give pay raises to elected officials, including themselves and the incoming mayor. The proposal would hike council member salaries by $24,000 annually and boost the mayor's pay by more than $40,000. Elected officials in the city have not had a salary boost since 2016. It's not too late to get your flu shot, especially now with cases spiking here in the city. and on Long Island and North Jersey.
There's a mismatch this year, meaning the strain of flu we got the vaccine for isn't the dominant strain.
That doesn't mean it won't work. It just won't work as well.
Mount Sinai infection prevention Dr. Bernard Kamens thinks it's part of the reason why the flu is running wild so early in the season. Flu ER visits are up 22% in the city, says Health Commissioner Michelle Morse.
The updated flu shot of this year still offers significant protection. And so I want that to be very clear to New Yorkers. It's not that we don't have tools. We do. Viruses do what viruses do. They change and adapt.
Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Los Angeles police are expected to present a case to prosecutors this afternoon after the arrest of Rob Reiner's son for the stabbing deaths of his parents. He might be formally charged in just a few hours.
32-year-old Nick Reiner is locked in jail without bail, suspected of murdering his parents. Iconic filmmaker Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle were found dead Sunday inside their Los Angeles home, and we're learning new details about the hours leading up to their deaths. Sources say Saturday, Rob Reiner and his son Nick got into an argument at Conan O'Brien's holiday party. Nick was seen there acting strangely.
Correspondent Trevor Ault. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the public will not see the unedited video of a U.S. strike that killed 2 survivors of an initial U.S. strike on a boat in the Caribbean. The administration has claimed that the boat was smuggling drugs.
Of course, we're not going to release a top secret, full unedited video of that to the general public. Hask and Sask and appropriate committees will see it, but not the general public.
Yesterday, 8 more people on 3 boats in the Pacific were killed in U.S. strikes. Hegseth says members of the House and Senate Armed Services Committee would have an opportunity this week to review the video, but did not say whether all members would be allowed to see it, even as a defense policy bill demands that it be released to Congress. A driver who injured more than 130 people when he plowed his vehicle into a crowd of soccer fans celebrating Liverpool's Premier League championship has been sentenced to 21 years in prison in the UK. Paul Doyle rammed his minivan through a sea of fans back in May. The rampage came to an end after a bystander jumped in and put the vehicle into park. The prosecutors say Doyle had lost his temper in trying to get through a crowd and all the traffic. He pleaded guilty to the charges. A new study is raising the alarm over the protective gear worn by firefighters.
Researchers at Duke University, including Heather Stapleton, have found that some firefighter gear is made with chemicals called brominated flame retardants that could pose a health risk to the first responders.
This is a flame retardant that has a chemical structure that's very similar to a flame retardant that is now banned from use due to its persistence and toxicity.
The study is the first published research in the U.S. to investigate and document the use of brominated flame retardants in firefighter turnout gear.
It's correspondent Jim Crisula. Federal officials say 4 of the nation's biggest retailers were still selling recalled baby formula that should have been pulled from their shelves.
ByHeart infant formula was recalled on November 11th, but the FDA says Walmart, Target, Kroger, and Albertsons still sold the tainted formula for days or weeks. The agency has sent them warning letters saying they should take prompt action when notified of product recalls. The outbreak has sickened more than 50 babies in 19 states, including Hannah Everett's 4-month-old daughter Piper in Kentucky.
She had finished that entire can literally the day before the recall. You just kind of feel like you failed as a parent in some ways.
So far, no deaths have been reported.
Correspondent Michael Wallace. New research is in this afternoon on the protections of the COVID jab.
Pregnant women who got vaccinated for COVID were far less likely to have severe illness or premature babies. A University of British Columbia study looking at over 20,000 pregnancies found that pregnant women who got the COVID shot were 60% less likely to be hospitalized and 90% less likely to need intensive care than unvaccinated women. COVID vaccination also led to 20 to 36% fewer premature births, adding to the clear evidence vaccination protects pregnant women and babies.
Correspondent Michael George. An amusement park is making room for some new residents. And we'll have that story coming up next. But first, Wins News Time 2:51. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Greg Rice.
Well, we say it pretty often, but it bears repeating today. There are no good days on the belt in Brooklyn. Some are just worse than others. Like today, westbound belt at Cropsey Avenue, the right lane and exit ramp are blocked because of a crash, and you got a standstill past Flatbush Avenue already. Eastbound belt bunched up to Pennsylvania Avenue. Now in Queens, on the eastbound belt, still slow from the Van Wyck to Francis Lewis Boulevard because of an earlier collision. Speaking of collision, southbound West Side Highway near West 72nd Street, that's a wreck backing up from the 90s, and you've got an accident in the Bronx, northbound Major Deegan Expressway, just off of the RFK Bridge. The two right lanes are still shut with this one, which backs you up onto the Bruckner and the RFK. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. City-bound side of the George Washington Bridge, pretty good to the upper and lower. The outbound upper level of the George a bit slow, so the outbound lower level is where you go. Lincoln Tunnel right now, no more than about 10 minutes in. Outbound Lincoln about 10, 15 to 20 home at the Holland. Inbound Skyway is slow. Newark Bay is better. Greg Rice, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check now of your AccuWeather forecast, sponsored by Chef IQ Sense. Here's meteorologist Brian Thompson.
We've had a lot of sunshine this afternoon, Lori. A few high clouds starting to mix on in. We'll have patchy clouds into tonight. And now temperatures, despite all the sunshine, have really struggled to get past the freezing mark this afternoon. We'll see a low of 28 tonight, but it will be a noticeably warmer day tomorrow. Intervals of clouds and sunshine. Now, there will be a bit of a breeze into the afternoon. A high up to 43, though. Mainly clear tomorrow night. Low 31 in the city. It'll be in the 20s in most suburbs. And times of sun and clouds Thursday. A high of 46. Temperatures will rise into the 50s Thursday night. Some rain will arrive after midnight, and there could be some ponding on roads into the Friday morning commute. As again, some of the rain could come down at a pretty good clip into Friday morning before it tapers off. Clouds break for some sun Friday afternoon. It's going to turn quite windy, high 56 early. Temperatures fall back into the 40s in the afternoon as winds gust to 50 miles per hour. And much colder Saturday, high temperatures back in the 30s. Sunny and 31 degrees right down Midtown. We're going down to 28. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM.
If you're planning a trip to California next summer and thinking about stopping in at Six Flags Magic Mountain in Valencia, you'll find some new residents.
Might I inquire to ask what's up, Doc?
A Looney Tunes land is coming to the amusement park, and the heart of the themed area will be Bugs Bunny Play Park. It will replace Speedy Gonzales Hot Rods and Pepe Le Pew's Tea Party, and you'll find a zone that features Wile E. Coyote's quest to capture Roadrunner. Construction begins next month. Titanic and Avatar have been very, very good to James Cameron.
If there's something you can do, then you must do it.
Forbes says the director is officially a billionaire today. The numbers coming in just days before the release of the latest installment of the Avatar franchise, Fire and Ash.
This is Maureen from Howard Beach with another 1010 Wins holiday fun fact. Did you know that Americans spend around $1 billion on unwanted holiday gifts each year? Did someone say re-gift? Happy holidays to everyone.
Chef IQ Mini Oven. It is the mini oven that I love, and it actually does pair with the Chef IQ Mini Thermometer. This oven is sleek, smart, and seriously powerful. This is an 11-in-1 culinary wizard that air fries, bakes, roasts, broils, slow cooks, and even dehydrates, all in one compact box that fits perfectly on your counter and looks great. Just glance through the edge-to-edge glass window, lit by natural LEDs that makes your dinner look like it belongs on the cover of the food magazine. It's got a soft closed door, a cool touch handle, and it actually does fit a 13-inch pizza. So yes, it's compact, but it's got serious range. With Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, you can actually start your dinner from your phone. Smart cooking, even smarter convenience. The Chef IQ Mini Oven is the smartest thing in your kitchen, and right now you can save up to 30% off with coupon code BOOMER at chefiq.com. That's chefiq.com and promo code BOOMER for 30% off.
Now Bloomberg Money Watch.
Today in futures trading, oil prices fell below $55 a barrel for the first time in 4 years. That drop follows a trend seen much of this year in which the market thinks supply will stay strong thanks to output from OPEC, while global economic headwinds could keep demand weak. The catalyst in recent days has been hope for a deal that would end the Russia-Ukraine war. On Wall Street, we're seeing mostly drops as well as today's unemployment readings show job growth subdued and unemployment rising to 4.6% in November. Dow losing 363, S&P down 26, but the Nasdaq right now gaining 2. Amanda O'Day, Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
WINS FM in HD1 New York.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. More people get their news from 1010 Wins than from any other radio station in the nation. Sarah Milano is at the editor's desk. I'm Lori Madden.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM, New York.
Good afternoon. Mostly sunny skies and 31 degrees at 3 o'clock. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening. Don't forget the stuff. Mayor Eric Adams reminding people that he got stuff done as he prepares to ride off into the sunset. Actually says he's riding off to Europe after he did a farewell speech today with some reporters. Hang on a minute. Police still trying to determine the identity and cause of death of a woman whose body was found outside the New York Botanical Gardens this morning. We also have the latest from a Siena College poll where New Yorkers say they don't know how much it'll help, but it certainly can't hurt if the new mayor-elect can work something out with President Trump, as long as Trump doesn't go rogue. They're talking about putting a Whole Foods in the Ridgewood section of Queens.
The community is constantly changing and gentrifying.
Yeah, but some of the mom and pop stores say they aren't trying to hear that. We'll get reaction in this half hour and why some folks are opposed to it. And FIFA says, okay, we hear you. People have been screaming about the ticket prices to get into the games next summer. So FIFA decided to drop the price significantly for at least 1,000 tickets. Somebody said 1,000 tickets. Here at MetLife, that's a half a row. In section 900, row 2,000, which is up in Yonkers. You're not fooling anybody. This is too funny. AccuWeather says cloudy skies will drop to a low of 28 on this Tuesday. When's news time? 3:01. Let us get you where you need to go now, Mr. Gregory Rice.
Well, let's do it while we can and give you some good news.